After 21 years of flavor forecasting, we're still inspired every day to create new flavors for tomorrow. Culinary plays a huge role globally within the flavor forecast. We're able to collaborate and inspire one another, share recipes, and develop concepts. So it's a great inspirational tool that we use to help ourselves innovate and inspire our customers. I think one of the benefits of doing it virtually this year was actually we were all able to see the same things and come along through the journey to develop the 21st edition together. So we did a lot of collaborative videos and demos and webinars, unpacking kits and discovering the flavors together.
I think the most important thing people should take away from Flavor Forecast is being inspired by flavor. This year we really looked at everything from different places to source ingredients to different cuisines and cultures and how they all come together around the concept of flavor.
Underwater Underdiscovered is tapping into the potential of the underwater world with interesting flavors, ingredients, and textures. So when we talk seaweed, when we talk sea moss, and then when you bring the seawater into it, it really is us just touching the surface of the water. There's so much below that really adds flavor, adds creativity, adds color. It's really one of my favorite trends.
Chefs and consumers alike are recognizing the indulgent and playful side of plants in both ingredients and flavors to heighten the eating experience. Plants are so colorful and fun, and you can do so much with them. Everything from taking a mushroom and making it look like a scallop to pureeing carrots into ice cream and having something bright orange on your dessert plate. From carrots to things you've never heard of like buzz buttons, plants can push boundaries in everything from creation to innovation.
From east to west, nostalgic foods provide a global curiosity with an emphasis on exotic experiences. Nosh is really classically meant to mean eating in between meals, so it's those comfort foods that allow you to indulge in something small. There's different kinds of street food around the world, and there's different ways to snack, so you can put different cuisines together and flavors and make it into something that's really humble and quite comforting.
Inspired by ancient practices, physiological eating embraces a holistic notion of eating for balance based on your individual needs. This means choosing flavors that are aligned to each of the 6 taste categories. Sweet, that is said to ground you. Sour, that's said to refresh and cleanse. Salty is there to help create balance. Bitter is said to cleanse. Astringent is said to be cooling. And pungent is said to be warming and invigorating. You can utilize flavors across these 6 taste categories to add balance to anything you're making, from meals to products to everything in between.
Flavor Forecast means a lot to me for the way that I really work with food within McCormick every day.
Flavor Forecast is easily my favorite part of the job. We get to be so innovative and try so many different things. It pushes us out of our comfort zones to think differently and research, really see what's going on in food, and it allows us all to be better chefs. It's about community and bringing people together, and these new flavors can be an exciting way to change things up.
To host this afternoon's webinar, please welcome a Leo Awards Best Male Host Awardee, Agora Awardee for Entrepreneurship, writer, producer, motivational speaker, co-founder of Mercato Central and the newest innovative idea, United Kitchen, Mr. RJ Ledesma.
And hello, good afternoon. Welcome to all my fellow entrepreneurs and fellow foodies from all around the country. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, and welcome to Together We Flavor, where we gather the country's top food entrepreneurs. Oh, my mouth is watering just right now. Finding out who all the guests are going to be, and of course, our business experts to help you, our local food business owners, to innovate, rebuild, and thrive with your business during these trying times. Bago lahat, please tell me right now, I know earlier on in the chat box, you were telling everybody where you're from. Again, please, let me know from where you are watching from around the country. I want to see that right now in the chat box. Saan po kayo sa Pilipinas nanonood ng ating Together We Flavor? Please let me know. And at the same time, please let me know sino po yung inaabangan po yung chef Who do you want to watch here today na chef, and what do you want to learn from them? Because they are very, very excited to hear from all of you. Now, I am sure everyone is just as excited as I am for this afternoon's event. And I know that for a fact, because after 4 days, when we promoted this whole webinar, we were able to get, can you believe this, more than 500 registrants from all over the country and even from outside the Philippines. This goes to show you lang how massive the interest right now for our food entrepreneurs from all over the world. And also, how huge and booming the food and beverage industry has become in the Philippines during the new normal. Okay, aminin po ninyo, sino po dito nagkaroon ng online or home-based food business habang sa panahon ng pandemya? Pakitaas yung kamay, please. Did you create your food business during this pandemic? Let us know. We would love to know right now who made their business during this time. Ayan, may sumasagot na. And of course, with McCormick Culinary headlining this show, you can expect only expertise, credibility, and innovation. Or hopefully, all of you registered because you saw that the show has a very charming host, di ba? Pwede rin, di ba? By the way, just in case, if there are any food entrepreneurs out there who want to join my business, Mercato Central, the largest outdoor market in the Philippines, and also we will be having a Mercato app very soon, you are more than welcome to join. Just visit our website. But seriously, I would like to thank all of you for taking time out from your busy schedules to attend this very delicious and flavorful webinar that we have so lovingly and hardworkingly cooked up for all of you. Rest assured po that by the end of this 2-hour webinar, busog na kayo lahat with insights and learnings from all of our industry professionals. Now, we have quite the exciting lineup of experts this afternoon for all of you. And they all have very unique topics that will help you to remain competitive in the new normal. So bago pa tayo magsimula, may I already invite you right now, please get, like for me, I have my notebook ready to take down notes, or you have your cell phones right now to take screenshots of what's going on. Please take a lot of notes. I had a chance to see the previews of the slides that they will be presenting, and they were so informative, especially for a food entrepreneur like myself. Now, the first person speaking here today will be starting off our webinar with our good friends from McCormick. We will start off with Chef Tenten Casasola and Chef Johan Movido. These are our McCormick chefs who will be discussing the 21st McCormick Flavor Forecast. Ayan po, sa McCormick mo lang matatagpuan to. They're going to give you a whole flavor forecast so you can have competitive dishes for the next 2021 and 2022. So, please take down notes. At McCormick, what they love to do is they love to identify emerging food and culinary trends. So, mauuna na kayo dito. Imagine, you're gonna get first-hand information on what will be tomorrow's favorite flavors. So please make sure to tune in because McCormick's signature flavor forecast is a must-see for people in the food and beverage industry. And of course, ito, maraming fans to. We shall also be joined by culinary genius chef RV Manabat from Laguna. Marami siyang fans mula sa Laguna. Ayan, Animo RV. His topic aims to help you innovate your offerings and remain competitive and ahead of the game during these really tough times. Again, maraming salamat Chef RV for joining us. And again, I have another very good friend. I love his burgers, so Burger Beast. On the topic of food delivery, innovation, and strategies, we have the master chef himself, Chef Carlo Miguel. Bigatin to, he will be sharing his insights on how to ensure the quality of the food that you prepare will continuously shift to food deliveries. He will tell you how to improve your packaging, especially since lahat naman tayo dito ngayon, we're doing online food deliveries. We need to improve our service, and he can tell you just how he was able to do that with his own business. And of course, with any other business, marketing is a primary tool for you to reach your target audience. And again, I've had a chance to work with this great guy. His name is Nico David, and he'll be sharing with you his expertise on how your business can reach the right people and how you can direct your promotional efforts to the right channel. So ngayon, kung matataka kayo, dapat ba Facebook? Dapat ba Instagram? Dapat ba YouTube? Dapat ba TikTok? Where should it be? You will have to listen to the talk mamaya ni Chef, to our marketing practitioner, Nico David. And of course, last but not the least, we're going to be having 2 more chefs, and they're going to be really great because importante po dito ngayon, yung negosyo pa natin pagdating sa pagkain, hindi lang pansamantala or panghabang buhay yan, di ba? Kung pwede, or long-term, sustainable yung mga negosyo ninyo. They will teach you how to sustain and manage your business for the long haul. We have two veteran chefs, pero hindi sila mukhang veteranong. Batang-bata po yung itsura po nila. Chef Mikel Zaguirre and Chef Angelo Comsti. Now, wow! That is what I call a lineup. If you guys are impressed, palakpakan naman. Give me a virtual clap naman there. Give me a thumbs up if you're excited to hear from our chefs here this afternoon. I'm looking at the chat box. Walang magre-respond. Who's excited to hear from these chefs here right now? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, now, here's a great thing about this one. Because this is a live session, we will be having a question and answer portion with our culinary and marketing experts later on. So please make sure, habang kayo nagsusulat ng mga notes ninyo, as you're taking down notes from the lecture, you can put down your questions. Also, put your questions there on the chat box. Preferably, please put your name, where you're from. If you have a restaurant or a home kitchen, please let us know what it is. And then please address that question to the chef whom you want to answer that question. So again, please make sure to put all your questions in our chat box. Okay, who is excited to hear from our first speakers this afternoon? In the chat box right now, are you excited to hear from our speakers? Are you ready? Are you pumped up? Ano? Excited na ba kayo? Okay. Very good. Now the dishes are ready for serving. Are you ready for knowledge and food for your mind when it comes to food and cooking in the new normal? So this is Together We Flavor, brought to you by McCormick Culinary. Now, our first topic here today, very, very important, what everybody has been waiting for. It is the 21st McCormick Flavor Forecast. What are the emerging trends in the food and flavor industry? It will be served hot and delicious by our chefs from McCormick Culinary. Our first chef from McCormick is Chef Johan Movido. He is currently the Senior Innovations Manager of McCormick Philippines. Prior to his current role in McCormick, he was also the Innovations Manager of McCormick Flavor Solutions, where he was tasked to create new ideas with stakeholders. Sino pa yung mga stakeholders? Yung mga restaurants, yung mga manufacturers, yung mga food processors, in coming up with their new food products. Ayan po, marami kayong mapupulot na bagong mga food ideas from him. He has been with McCormick since 2016 and has been heavily involved in innovating new food products, recipes, and concepts for McCormick and its clients. Today, you get a preview of all these new food concepts that you can try in your own home kitchens. Please welcome Chef Johan.
Hi everyone and welcome to McCormick's Together We Flavor webinar. 21 years into flavor forecasting, and McCormick is still uncovering the trends that will shake up the way we cook, flavor, and eat. With the hard lean into the virtual twist that 2020 placed on the world, this year's approach was exclusively digital, but no less full of passion for the pursuit of flavor. McCormick has always been in constant search for what's next in flavor. We leverage on our global presence and work with several chefs, culinary experts, professionals, and marketing experts to come up with a clear, compelling look at what's next that sparks flavor innovation and discovery for the future years. Here's a look on our 5-month fully virtual and global flavor journey for this year's forecast. We had 26 McCormick team members who studied 8 different trend areas, had 11 expert interviews, 3 virtual culinary experiences, and 9 hours of workshop. Out of this, we were able to select 4 final themes, which are plants pushing boundaries, humble nosh, underwater underdiscovered, and physiological eating. From these, the team was able to create 8 recipes, sent 208 trend boxes, and tried 37 products for these final themes. With the taste for tomorrow's most standout flavors, Flavor Forecast 21st edition continues to connect us to the flavors and ingredients that delight the senses and bring cooking and eating experiences around the globe full circle. This year's exciting trend pushes the boundaries further than ever in the plant-based world for plants pushing boundaries. Invite comforting global flavors to the table in approachable ways for humble nosh. Deliver the fresh, under-discovered ingredients and textures of the coast direct to the palate for underwater underdiscovered. And reignite our health and wellness through the reemergence of mindful eating and intentional ingredients based on ancient philosophies for physiological eating. Exciting, right? So let us start with our first trend, plants pushing boundaries. The plant-based world is now mainstream. Some started by throwing kale and other greens into a smoothie for added health benefit and have since reimagined the makeup of their plates by moving veggies from side to the main dish. This trend is about embracing all the brilliant color, vibrant ingredients, and playful plant flavors that heighten the eating experience. Whether vegan or just curious, there's truly something for everyone. Color, texture, satiety, and even sweetness in this boundary-busting trend. So here are the micro themes of this trend: textural experience, charred vegetables, botanical ingredients, and color indulgence. A research conducted by Mintel says that plant-based dishes are going beyond quinoa and kale to include craveable flavors and decadent preparation methods. And a survey conducted by Technomix says that 41% of millennials enjoy trying new plant-based dishes and beverages at restaurants. Here are some sensory notes that you'll be experiencing in this trend. You will be experiencing a lot of natural color, texture, satiety, sweet, and sensation. Let us talk about textural experience. Like flavor, mouthfeel or the sensation of food and drink in the mouth brings unnecessary nuance and intrigue to plant-based dishes. Think heart of palm or ubod as we call it, turned calamari, tacos filled with hearty cactus or jackfruit, and luscious lobster rolls but make it with mushrooms. Veggies like these lead to a more interesting food and drink experiences, and of course make a meal that's oh so Instagrammable. Chemistry is always welcome in the kitchen, especially when it comes to charring foods. So get that produce on the grill. Their salt, rich, complex flavors and aromas, a characteristic dark color, and a woody or smoky profile that leads to a heightened sensory experience. We're big fans of 1, charring only a portion of vegetables a la grill marks, and 2, char the entire vegetable and add it in just a small dose to a recipe for an unexpected effect. Feast with your eyes and eat the rainbow. The richness and color you can derive from plants is truly unbelievable. A vibrant purple ube latte or orange carrot ice cream both engages the senses in the boldest of ways, and let's be real, they look seriously stunning on any dessert table. It's really amazing on how ube is now starting to be known worldwide, and part of it carries our country because it started here in the Philippines and it's local. So here are some inspiration for this trend. Fried okras, charred saba croquettes, ube chips seasoned with lemongrass sea salt, and kaffir aioli. Another inspiration that highlights color indulgence and botanical ingredients is this asay stracciatella ice cream. Next is humble nosh. Humble nosh is inspired by the Yiddish word nosh, meaning to nibble on, and combines rising global flavors with the means to travel locally via our plates. It connects us with food and drinks that people have found comfort and nourishment in while satisfying cravings from around the world. From east to west, nostalgic foods, twist on classic meals, and an emphasis on global curiosities all help us feel well-traveled in a safe, still close-to-home way. The exploration of global flavors like chaat masala, fried crisp chilies, and pandan kaya were all born out of that resounding need for munching on what helps us safely feel the things we can't do in today's situation. Food Business News says that behaviorally, therefore, experimentation has pulled back to kind of safe experimentation. Yes, they want global food, but they want global comfort food. They don't want things they are not familiar with. So here are the featured ingredients and flavors for this trend. Chaat masala and lemon. Chaat masala is an Indian spice mix for their street food or snacks. Fried crisp chilies, wherein you can play different chilies and different applications like desserts. And pandan kaya, which is a Malaysian green coconut jam flavored with pandan. And here are some recipes to give inspiration to this trend. Crispy chicken bites with chili cheese sauce, and another one is pandan churro with kaya cream dip. Thank you.
And again, thank you so much, Chef Johan. I hope you're all taking down notes because you might not know or you might need it later on when you make your own dishes, or maybe there's a little contest where you might need to learn more about what are the things that the chef is talking about. But before everything else, can you remember what were the two key trends he was talking about earlier on? Okay, the first trend was what? Plants pushing boundaries. And number two, he was talking about humble nosh. Nosh meaning to nibble, or yung mga comfort food natin. How can we transform our comfort food and make it different using McCormick Culinary Flavors? And again, if you've got any questions for Chef Johan, please make sure to put that in the chat box. We will have a question and answer portion in just a bit after our next presentation. Now let's move on to our next speaker who will discuss the next two trends in the McCormick Flavor Forecast. Our next speaker is Chef Tenten Casasola. Chef Ten is currently the Innovations and Culinary Team Manager of McCormick Philippines. Wow, social to. She received her French cuisine diploma at Le Cordon Bleu, London. She is also a culinary educator for CCA Manila, FEU, and Lyceum of the Philippines. She is in charge of overseeing product innovations and recipe testing, as well as consultancy with her industry clients. So please welcome to continue on with our flavor forecast, Chef Ten.
The third trend for the Flavor Forecast 2021 is underwater, underdiscovered. This is tapping into the potential of underwater world with interesting flavors, ingredients, and textures. So when we talk about seaweed, sea moss, and we bring the salt water into it, it really is just touching the surface of the water. There's so much below the sea that really adds flavor, creativity, and color. It's one of my personal favorite trends this year. The deep blue sea offers limitless potential when it comes to ingredient innovation. Sustainable and nutritious, seaweed is already having a moment in the spotlight. Saltwater and sea botanicals are just a few of these wonders, totally reinventing snacks, seasonings, cocktails, and even charcuterie boards. As you know, 70% of Earth is water, but a large percentage of our taste experiences are land-based. It's time to tap into this unexplored flavor potential. According to Business Wire, the global algae product market is forecasted to register a compound annual growth rate of 5.1% from 2019 to 2024. Many famous celebrities like the Kardashians are tweeting their fans on how they enjoy the occasional sea moss smoothie. There are other means of consuming sea botanicals with creative application. With the rise of crunchy fish skin snacks like the bangus skin chicharon, different sea seasonings like furikake and seaweed sea salt, to seaweed recipes beyond Japanese cuisine, to deeper explorations of the different sea vegetables, this would not only make it interesting and exciting for chefs, but as well as consumers alike. Now, don't forget to eat your underwater vegetables too. Underwater botanicals offer a fresh, earthy flavor to savory meals and cocktails. There's a whole garden of ocean botanicals ripe for the picking that offer up untapped potential in flavor, color, and nutrition. Seaweed, of course, is the more obvious choice, but there's spirulina and sea grapes, locally known as lato. These exciting underwater botanicals infuse big umami-forward flavor into snacks, meals, and beverages like kelp pickles, agar noodles, and spirits. Salt water brings a fresh and briny bite to foods and beverages. It can also dimensionalize eating and drinking experiences with an experiential component. I actually had fun making these two recipes for this trend. The first recipe is seaweed pesto with sea salt shrimp over pasta. I utilized the common seaweed known to many as wakame in this recipe and highlighted its umami and briny flavors. Paired well with sea salt seasoned jumbo shrimps, now that's a mouthful, it gives a subtle yet overpowering flavor of the sea. Now, this second recipe is my favorite among all the recipes I've played with. Imagine miso soup, but ice cream. Now, this is basically just seaweed ice cream, paired with burnt spicy miso caramel and umami furikake topper. Also using wakame, we also highlighted another botanical from the sea, which is called hijiki, a brown sea vegetable growing wild in the rocky coastlines of Japan, Korea, and China. This is paired well with that spicy, almost burnt flavor of miso caramel and some umami kick from the savory furikake seasoned with sea salt. Now, I think the most important thing people should take away from it, especially on this trend, is to really explore things that you're not accustomed to having from under the sea. Now, on to the next and final trend for this year is what we call physiological eating. Inspired by ancient practices, physiological eating embraces a holistic notion of eating for balance. Based on your individual needs, this means choosing flavors that are aligned to each of the 6 categories, not to mention harnessing the warming and cooling properties of different herbs and spices. Now, physiological eating directly means, to put it simply, to eat intentionally, where balance is key both for the mind and the body. To eat with the intention of food as a life-giving force to heal, fulfill, and nourish. With the reemergence of mindful eating and intentional ingredients, inspired by ancient practices and beliefs, the focus to achieve mind and body balance has shifted directly to flavorful ingredients to adapt to the ever-changing world around us. With ideas, cultures, and philosophies in mind, with this trend, we focus on these common themes. The first is to eat in harmony with individual and external states. Second, flavoring for balance. And last, the acknowledgement of the symbiotic relationship between senses and seasons. When it comes to ancient approaches to health and wellness, like the Ayurvedic practice, it is thought that balancing the 6 tastes results in greater mind and body satisfaction. Sweet, that is said to ground you. Sour, said to refresh and cleanse. Great examples for this would be citrus, like our local calamansi, some fermented fruits, and of course tamarind or sampalok. Salty is there to help create balance. Bitter, on the other hand, is to cleanse. Great examples for this would be the fenugreek, cumin, and our favorite, green tea. Astringent is said to be cooling, like turmeric, parsley, and pomegranate. Pungent is said to be warming and invigorating, like ginger, hot peppers, and mustard seeds. Now, in Ayurvedic practice, nutritious foods, herbs, and spices are used to maintain the balance of elements in the body. Warming spices provide heat and comfort, while, on the other hand, cooling spices are said to cool and calm. Now, on the first recipe for this trend, we made a slow-cooked pulled beef with mango turmeric drizzle. This one I paired with crispy ube chips to pick up those pulled beef, and then you drizzle some mango turmeric sauce on top. This adds a perfect balance to the warming and cooling notes of ginger, turmeric, fenugreek, and lemongrass. Now, on the last and final recipe I've played with, I made localized samosas, tomato chutney, sweet and smoky chickpeas, and just to balance and bring everything together is the cilantro cream. We highlighted the balancing of the 6 tastes by using different herbs and spices like onion, garlic, ginger, lemongrass, and such to add saltiness, sourness, astringency, pungency, and of course bitterness from the fenugreek just to balance everything out. You can utilize flavors across these 6 categories to add balance to anything you're making, from meals to products to anything in between. The sky's the limit. Now, this sums up the trends of the Flavor Forecast 2021 edition. Thank you.
And thank you as well, Chef Ben, for the very informative and insightful part of the flavor forecast. So again, for those who are listening carefully, the last 2 trends that she identified were, of course, underwater, underdiscovered, and physiological eating. And for me, I found it terribly interesting because ako po mismo noon, I'm a yoga practitioner. And, if you do yoga, usually you practice Ayurvedic, Ayurvedic medicine. And they say that food is your medicine. So this is very interesting for me that she actually brought that up. Now, having said that, again, I'm inviting everybody right now to please, kung may mga tanong po kayo para sa ating mga chefs, please put your questions there in the chat box. Please state your name, what part of the country you're from, and also kung meron kayong restaurant or home kitchen. And please let us know if you'd like to address the question to Chef Johan or to Chef Ten or to anybody over here. We would love to answer your question. So again, Chef Ten, Chef Johan, welcome back. Welcome back. How are you guys doing?
Hi, RJ. Good afternoon. I'm doing great. Hi.
Hi, Chef Ten. Hi, Chef Johan. Kumusta ka naman dyan? Marami kang fans. Pogi ka raw, Chef. Pogi. Daming fans dyan kayo sa Zoom. Pogi ka daw. Pogi.
Good afternoon to all of the beautiful and poggies out there also.
Ang galing talaga. Magaling ka talaga, Chef Johan. Kaya pala masarap yung mga dishes mo. It's made with love. Diba? So, we got some really great questions coming out here right now. And Olivia, thank you so much for asking your question. She's got some great questions. One for Chef Johan and also one for Chef Ten. The first question from Olivia. We know right now that, of course, many people enjoy, they want to get healthy during this pandemic because, they've been stuck at home. Maybe they haven't been eating healthy. So it's time for them to do that. But usually, and I know this one coming from, somebody who used to be vegetarian many years ago. Parang yung mga tao feeling nila, hindi satisfying, hindi busog yung tiyan pag plant-based yung diet ninyo. So yung question is very relevant. How do you design plant-based food menus that will help customers make satisfying choices and at the same time yung stimulate yung appetite? Gutom, they like to eat, parang they really like to eat at nabubusog rin sila. What do you say to that, Chef Johan?
Yeah, actually that's a really, really great question, Olivia, and thank you for that question. There's a lot of other food options that we usually see, but with plant-based dishes, we're so limited with what we know, the usual servings of quinoa, kale. Now, this is where the challenge comes in. Those delectable, really good dishes that you like that are not plant-based, the challenge here is to adapt those flavors and turn it into plant-based dishes. So how do we do that? Spices and herbs play a huge role in this. So example, let's say tikka masala. Tikka masala is chicken masala. It's an Indian dish with a tomato. So how can we adapt this into a vegetarian dish? It's quite easy as long as you use the right spices. So just mix in all of the right spices, substitute the meat with a similar textured one in vegetables. So something like either hearts of palm, or if you have reach on cactus meat, then that's good. If not, you can use jackfruit. Diba? Alam natin natin langka, right? You can use it with your tacos also. So think of those delectable dishes that you like and substitute the meat with the right vegetables, then you'll have a great, great innovation.
Oh, just to add to that one, because usually, when I was vegetarian, yung naging substitute ko for protein was just puro tofu, because that's your go-to protein. What are the other great alternatives for protein, especially if you're going for this type of plant-based diets na nabubusog kayo?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of varieties of mushrooms that you can play with. Here at the office, we've actually tested some king oyster mushrooms, which when you cut it vertically, it would turn into something like scallops. So just butter, then you really have a good texture, and the satiety or the satisfaction in chewing is really accomplished through that mushroom. And also, you can test out carrots. So in McCormick, we've actually developed a recipe called hot dog carrot. So we've created hot dog using a carrot. So it's basically marinating your carrots and curing it, then slowly cooking it over medium heat or in the oven until it reaches that tender texture. And the spices would help it make it taste like hot dog. So things like that. Just be creative. Never, don't ever limit your vegetables. Vegetables can take you anywhere, right? There's also an example a while ago from my presentation. We have hearts of palm turned into calamari. So just imagine that you still have that satisfying comfort of calamari, but eating vegetables.
That's right. Thanks so much for enlightening us over there, Chef Johan. That was really great insight, even for me. Chef Ten, from Olivia again, it's a really great question, especially when it came to your discussion about physiological eating, diba? Usually, especially pag Ayurvedic yung pagkain, diba? You have your different qualities for the foods, no? Can you suggest to us what food ingredients can provide maybe antibacterial or antiviral protection? Siyempre ngayon, lahat tayo, we want to eat, and sana medicinal rin yung pagkain natin, especially sa panahon ng COVID, diba? So, are there any type of food that's antibacterial, antiviral, and maybe even immune boosting at the same time?
Yeah. Thanks, Olivia, again for that great, interesting question. One of my favorites actually is turmeric and ginger. These are actually known to help boost your immunity. It has anti-inflammatory properties, so it helps with swelling and such. So if you have indigestion, it can really help. A lot of herbs also contribute to having benefits sa ating katawan. So it's one of those things that I enjoy. Kasi even the humble garlic and the onion is has antibacterial properties, diba? Garlic is said to lower your cholesterol if you consume it. Downside lang is you would get garlic breath. But a lot of ingredients are already on hand in our kitchen right now is a big contribution. But one of my favorites again is turmeric talaga. Turmeric, ginger, honey is good. I also like cilantro and cinnamon. Cinnamon is also good for the body. Yeah.
Fantastic. Turmeric is, for Ayurveda. Turmeric is the go-to antibacterial, antiviral, anti-everything. That's what you take. Especially if something is swelling, it's anti-inflammatory as well when you take turmeric. A lot of good questions coming in, and just to let you know, the people, as you're putting questions there, some of them are great to be answered by Chef Johan and Chef Ten, but some of them will also be answered very, very well by our other panel of experts, because that's where their forte comes in. But let me bring in my own question as well. I think it's relevant, especially for many of the home-based. Many of them are out there. They made their dishes. They brought the dishes online during this time, because maraming naging online home kitchens. They put it online during the pandemic. Nakakabenta sila, but nakikita rin nila ang daming kakompetensya ngayon online. Now, I guess since we're talking about a lot of innovation, how do we create now in the benefit of their own homes yung mga innovative dishes? But at the same time, anong balance yan, Chef Johan? Para it's innovative pero hindi masyadong malayo sa lasang Pinoy. Kasi syempre, paminsan-minsan you can push a lot, but if you push too much, syempre, ano yan? I don't want to try this dish. It's so unfamiliar for me. What can they do? Let's say at home, they're coming up with a new dish. Maybe they're good at, I don't know, maybe adobo or something, or bagnet or whatever they're used to, their own heritage recipe or their own home recipe. Ano pwede nilang gawin na konting kaibahan with McCormick, especially given the new flavor profile, that they can do that slightly different but still very familiar? Let's just start off muna with Chef Johan. What are your recommendations?
Yeah, so just like what I've mentioned from my presentation earlier for Humble Nosh, the main essence of it is having global flavors in the comforts of your own comfort food. Like for us, it's Filipino food, right? So always go to your expertise first. And marketing plays a huge role, by the way. I just have to put that in because just how Korean craze was big here. It's all started because of marketing, right? Started with Korean novellas, and then eventually people learned how to eat Korean, wherein before it was a niche market. It was like eating kimchi was an acquired taste, but now it is everyone eats kimchi, right? So what you have to do is use your basics. Like example, if you're making an aioli dip, how can you innovate an aioli dip? Aioli dip is basically garlic mayo, right? Add some spices to it, and also connect it with some of the marketing trends that you can see through the market. What's trending now? So let's say Korean's trending because there's a lot of Korean novella. That you can see what flavor can you adopt from this trend. So let's think of, let's say, oh, Korean. I see maybe an ingredient that goes well is gochujang, since people love spicy. So why not add gochujang, which is the trend in the Korean market, add it to your basic, which is your garlic mayo. Then you have an innovation, which is the gochujang mayo or gochujang aioli, right? And you can see also with different chicken wing store, basic chicken wings, it's fried chicken wings. The normal sprinkle there is just salt or Cajun. What do? They add Korean gochujang glaze. They add kimchi glaze, whatever the trend is. So that's one thing that I usually look. What does people like right now in all aspects? Let's say in television, what do they usually watch? What is their attitude towards snacking? Do they love drinking drinks during snacks? Do they love fried foods? So if they love fried foods, write on that, fried food. Okay, I should think of something fried, but something different. And connect it with the trend and add some spices to it that is connected to the trend, then there you have it.
So dapat what I'm picking up also from you, Chef Yon, it's very important for you to also be very adept at watching the trends. Hindi lang trends in food per se, but even watching, like, you picked it up from K-drama, diba? Or the popularity of K-drama. So it's time for us to also look around and just be very important na we're absorbing the information from the world and seeing how we can process that into our taste and flavors. Chef Ten, ikaw naman, can you also add, I mean, I'm sure you also have your own experience. How can they innovate where it's still within the, I guess, the comfort of Philippines to try the food?
Ako kasi, RJ, I love pushing the limits. I like being creative with my food, even if it sounds not really appetizing, but when you get to try it, it's delicious. So I think the biggest tip that I can give them is, to test it out, test the recipe, try it out. And, it really depends on who's doing the recipe or who's doing the cooking. So basically anything that you feel is good, that is relevant to the trend, similar to what Johan has mentioned, it's actually your call. Yeah.
Really great. And just to add one more thing, pahabol na lang dito kay Chef Ten, no, from JP. He's asking, di ba usually you talk about the 6 flavors, especially pag Ayurveda, di ba, 6 different flavors you got to put there, or 6 different sort of spices. Is it always important na kasama lahat ang spices or the 6 different flavors sa dish ninyo, or can you achieve the same effect with a lesser number of tastes in the dish? Di ba? Kasi may astringent, may cleansing, di ba?
It doesn't really have to be always 6, but what the trend is trying to tell us is the use of these different spices, the use of different herbs in one certain dish can actually contribute to this 6 balancing of taste. And I think it's already present in our cuisine. It's already present in some of the Asian cuisines like Thailand and India. So basically, it's just playing with the spices and the herbs and trying to manipulate their properties and their flavor overall. So, yeah.
Yeah, maraming salamat, Chef Ten. Really great insights for all of us. At magpa-fan sign po muna si Chef Johan. Sino gusto mo batiin dyan, Chef Johan?
Great. I just want to say hi to Ateneo Licordon Blue students of BS Restaurant Entrepreneurship and also their instructor, Chef Annalie Mariano. Hello, good afternoon, good afternoon. And also to who's there.
Chef Ten, baka gusto mong bumati na rin. Sayang naman, bumati ka na, Chef Ten.
Hi na lang to everyone who's watching. Hi to Chef Annalie as well. Hi to everyone.
Babati na rin ako. Anybody from the College of St. Benil Culinary, thanks for watching as much. I'm one of your board of trustees, so thanks for watching as well, yung mga taga CSB. And again, thank you so much to both Chef Ten and Chef Johan. Really, really great insights from both of you. And what an exciting peek into the future of flavor. Now, we know what to watch out for. I know that some of you were not able to answer questions, but hopefully Chef Johan and Chef Ten can be there in the Zoom box or in the chat box. They can also try to answer some of your questions directly. So again, if you've got more questions for them, just put them over there. Baka mamaya konti po makakasagot si Chef Johan and si Chef Ten sa ating chat box. Now, time to serve our next course. And before everything else, gusto ko lang batiin Chef and Instructor Marga Marty, my good friend from CSB, watching this episode here right now. I hope that the other CSB students are also watching at the same time. And hello to Dean Paz of CSB Culinary. Thanks so much for watching as well. Now, let's move on to the next part of our program. This one, very, very important. Somebody you have all been waiting for. I got to see his presentation earlier. Bonggang, mga kaibigan. It is Flavor Your Food Biz. How do I stay competitive in tough times? Our expert received this perfecting French patisserie diploma at the École Nationale Supérieure de la Patisserie, France. Basta siya. He also took up a cake decorating course at the Institute of Culinary Education in New York City and also studied at the French Pastry School in Chicago. He also received the Master Chocolatier program at the Chocolate Academy in Belgium. He has received Asian cuisine specialty certificate courses in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and South Korea. He also runs a boutique baking and culinary school and Chef RV Cafe Restaurant in Binyan City, the pride of Laguna, mga kaibigan. Please welcome Chef RV Manabad.
How do we stay competitive during tough times? I love this topic simply because pinagdadaanan namin ito, pinagdadaanan ng marami sa atin, especially during this pandemic. Before the pandemic, Chef RV Cafe and Restaurant here in Binyan, isa kami sa pinaka-busy na food establishments here in Laguna. Pinipilahan po kami, gabi-gabi po, ang dami-dami po palaging tao dito. And since we opened in 2017, we enjoyed that kind of scenario. So when the pandemic happened or started in mga February or March 2020, medyo na-shock po kami. Simply because we really don't know what to do. So the first step is, kailangan for you to remain competitive, you have to make the right decisions at the right time. So what we did, we followed kung ano yung sinabi ng local government and of course the national government. So to keep the movement of people here inside our compound limited, we've decided na magte-take out only lang kami. Take out and delivery. So medyo napakalaking pagbabago. Because nasanay kami na every night, we would open for dine-in and our sitting capacity before was up to 200. No? So the switch to take out was fairly smooth. Kailangan lang ay medyo presentable yung take-out containers mo and napaka-importante na safe tignan ang packaging mo. Because safety, health and safety, yan ang number one na kinoconsider sa panahon ngayon. No? Pangalawa, the workplace, the environment of the cafe, kahit na for take-out lang, kailangan safe and vibrant. Welcoming pa rin. Kahit na may pandemic, kahit na ang mga tao, some feel uncomfortable going out, pag pumunta sila dito at nag-take out, they still feel at home and safe. That's why, as you can see in the photos, we've rearranged the cafe, we've added plants, no? And we've introduced some new items on the menu. No? So, new flavors. During this pandemic, ang daming mga products ang nauso. Nandyan yung usong-uso yung mga ube cheese, cheesy milky donuts, And kung ano-ano pang may cheese, napansin namin, puro may cheese, no? So one tip that I can give you is, huwag ka masyadong sumali sa bandwagon, no? Sa trend. What you want to do is, no? You use these trends, etong mga nauusong produkto, gamitin mo yan as a base, no? For you to introduce your original product. Nandun pa din dapat yung identity mo. Hindi yun po pwedeng mawala. So, in our case, what we did, nung nauso yung ube cheese pandesal, because during the pandemic, ang mga tao talagang breads. We want bread because bread is a food item na talagang it signifies security. Na pag may tinapay ka sa bahay, parang bigas yan nating mga Pinoy, hindi ka magugutom. Any time of the day, may pwede kang kainin. So nagulat kami this pandemic because before, 2-4 kilos of flour lang kami in a day. Nung nag-pandemic, nakakaisang sako kami. Nauubos yon for breads. And what I did, instead of the usual ube cheese pandesal, we also introduced ube Spanish bread. Ube cheese muffins. At some point, we also offered ube cheese French butter croissants. Ang social, di ba? Because ube cheese is really comforting. But people, they always want something new, but something classic as well. So these products, mga classic food products yan nalagyan mo ng bagong flavor, talagang kakagatin yan ng consumers. No? So that way, competitive ka pa rin, and at the same time, napaka-importante, sustainable, bumebenta yung iyong produkto. No? And never forget also that when you introduce flavors, kailangan comforting. Kasi sa panahon ngayon, people eat not only para mabusog, but also para maging masaya. Di ba nga kaya ngayon naging very popular yung aking katagang, dun tayo kung saan tayo masaya, because we want to eat food items. We want to prepare classic foods that will make us extra happy, because right now, yan ang kailangan natin. We want to stay happy and strong. Kaya wag din nating kalimutan na in our food products, sa mga produkto natin, i-indicate natin yung kanilang mga health benefits. Or kung hindi man masyadong healthy, let's be honest, yung produktong hinahain natin, let's declare kung anong ingredients yung pumupunta dyan. Kaya ngayong pandemic, no, in our menu, nilagay talaga namin, we are using this kind of butter. We are using this kind of chocolate. Kasi napansin namin that consumers are also extra careful about their food intake. No? So, napaka-importante din yan ngayon. No? So, new flavors, new products, no? Yan ang mga nakatulong namin to keep our business going. Kaya masasabi ko, no, very challenging, pero tuloy-tuloy pa din. Nakakapagbenta pa din kami and binibili pa din ng mga customers yung aming mga produkto. And syempre, hindi po namin tinanggal yung mga classic products namin. Because always remember, pagdating po sa flavors at sa pagkain, ang classic po ay hindi po yan nawawala sa uso. No? So, wag tayong maging masyadong experimental pagdating sa pagkain. No? Kahit na kumita, kahit na tuloy-tuloy pa din, hindi ko naman itatanggi, no? Hindi po ako mag-sugar coating. Madami po kaming pagsubok na pinagdadaanan o pinagdadaanan talaga ha. Because this pandemic, let's face it, it's expensive, no? To stay healthy, no? For the community or at least for our compound to stay healthy, no? It comes with a price. Medyo mahal po yan. So, nandyan yung regular testing, nandyan yung regular vitamins, flu shots, pneumonia shots. You want to keep, no, your team members and yourself healthy. Kasama po yan, no? Para maging competitive at sustainable ang hanap buhay, especially the food business. Because customers will not only trust the flavor of your food, but also, no, the safety. Napaka-importante po niyan, no? And for you to be able to keep the sustainability, kasi ang daming gastos eh. Actually, yung mga dinadaanan po natin na mag-foot bath ka, mag-aalcohol ka, no? Lahat po yan ay binabayaran, lahat po yan ay binibili. And sa totoo lang, hindi naman po tayo agad-agad pwedeng magtaas ng presyo ng ating mga produkto dahil nagdagdag tayo ng alcohol or ng foot bath, di ba? Pero these are things na medyo nadagdag sa cost. Pero isipin natin, hindi naman ito panghabang buhay. Lilipas din po ito. And again, for you to stay competitive, kailangan strong and healthy ang iyong negosyo. Kasama na dyan ang iyong mga tao at ang mga customer mo, they should feel safe every time na papasok sila sa establishment mo. So very, very important po yan. No? And pinag-uusapan na din natin, how do we stay competitive? So sa amin, those are the steps that we did, that we've been doing, no? But never forget, alisin natin sa ating isipan that we need to survive this pandemic. Kasi yung term na survive, parang medyo nakakalungkot yan eh, no? So, nung nagsimula ito, sinabi ko na hindi tayo magsusurvive. Tuloy-tuloy pa din tayo. Kailangan paunlad pa din tayo kahit na madami tayong pagsubok na pinagdadaanan. Tuloy-tuloy pa din tayo, no? Because matatapos din po ito. And pag natapos ito, pag nag-reopen ng tuluyan ang economy, kailangan prepared po tayo, no? Because in the food business, our customers have very high expectations. Gutom po ang mga tao, nagcrave po yan for new flavors. And excited na po yung mga yan. Excited na po tayong lahat na mag-dine-in ulit. So we should offer something more exciting, no, to our customers, to the community. Kaya kailangan ngayon, as we stay competitive, as we fight, no, para ang mga negosyo natin ay tuloy-tuloy na umunlad, hindi magsara, kailangan paghandaan din po natin ang pag-reopen ng economy. Napaka-importante niyan. So during the pandemic, we keep on saving for the future. Ang sabi nga nila, we should prepare for the rainy days. Eto na yung rainy days na to, yung pandemic. But we should also prepare for the sunny days. O, di ba? Yan paparating na pag natapos ito, papaano tayo magsisimula ulit ng mas maganda, mas bongga. O, di ba? Using my term. Kailangan mas bongga. Di ba? New products and you more prepared. And magagawa lang natin yan kung ngayon pinaghahandaan na natin mabuti. So again, paano paghandaan? At least, on my experience, you have to make the right decision at the right time. You have to be innovative, introduce new flavors that will make people happy, that will make you extra happy. O, di ba? And you have to take note and practice business sustainability. Hindi lang sa flavor, pero kailangan tuloy-tuloy na kumikita ang hanap buhay mo. And lastly, you have to stay healthy. You, your team members, and your customers. Pagka healthy kayong lahat, no, or at least you do your best to keep everyone healthy, the business will remain healthy and very fruitful.
Maraming salamat, Chef Arvin. Marami pong na-inspire po sa talk niyo. Ako rin po na-inspire po. And I'm so happy to say, sinabi sa akin ni instructor Marga Marti from CSB, si Chef RB noon, ay naging isang instructor po at a proud graduate ng College of St. Benilde Culinary Program. So again, Animoto to you, maraming salamat, Chef RB. At bago lahat po, I hope you took down a lot of notes. Ang dami mga great insights sa kanya. Maliban sa pagiging inspire sa atin lahat, ito yung napulot ko bilang isang entrepreneur. No? Bread is life ngayon habang sa panahon ng pandemya. So if you can come with innovative bread dishes, that's what's important for us to have right now. At yung gusto ko, you have to remain fabulously appetizing at this point in time and try to create, and this comes for me, no? And it's something I really picked up from that conversation is that make food that makes people happy. I guess that's really it. That's why, it's comfort food, but at the same time, if it's food that makes people happy, that's what people want. Having said that, our next speaker also makes food that makes me very, very happy. I love so much yung kanyang umami burger. If you haven't tried it just yet, you've got to check out their link, Burger Beast online. So our next topic is something very, very exciting, food on the move. How do I ensure quality as we shift to delivery? So lahat tayo ngayon, di ba? If you're doing home kitchen or even a restaurant, we've all had to move to delivery very, very quickly. At sometimes pagmamadali po natin lahat, sometimes hindi tama yung proseso or yung packaging na ginagamit natin. Buti na lang, our next speaker is willing to share his own experiences on how to improve the packaging process when we are delivering our food. He is the expert. Our expert is the culinary director of Cloud Eats, which is the pioneer cloud restaurant company in Southeast Asia. Their vision is to become the largest online food group in Southeast Asia. Currently, they're the largest cloud kitchen company in the Philippines, home to numerous brands. Cloud Eats has been recently recognized by Forbes Asia as one of the 100 to watch, being one of only 4 Philippine startups on the list. He is also the vice president of LTB Philippines Chefs Association, the only World Chefs accredited association here in the country. And on top of that, he is a World Chefs accredited international culinary competition judge. Mga kaibigan, please welcome Chef Carlo Miguel.
Hi, I'm Chef Carlo Miguel. I'm the Culinary Director for Cloud Eats. I'm the Vice President of the LTV Philippine Chefs Association, an internationally accredited World Chefs Judge, and I've been a chef for over 25 years. Today, I'm here to talk to you about how I ensure quality as we shift towards delivery. Being the Culinary Director of a company that handles the largest cloud kitchens in the country, delivery is our bread and butter. Firstly, let's talk about restaurants. A restaurant is traditionally a place where one goes to be restored. It is more than just being about the food. It also is about the ambience and the service. When you combine this with the food, it gives the restaurant its own life force. To translate this life force to delivery is very challenging. For traditional restaurants, this might be a little easier because a good percentage of the customers have been to them before, so they know what to expect. For cloud-based restaurants, this can be a lot more challenging. Through all the changes that the food and beverage industry has been through in the last couple of years, the customer is still looking for a quality product at a reasonable price, served in a timely manner. Around 80% of customers state that the taste of food is the main reason for them choosing a restaurant. So that means your products have to taste great. The best place to start is to make sure you're getting the best quality produce and the freshest ingredients available. A great way to do this is to form good relationships with your suppliers so you get good products at a great price. Personally, I'm always asking my suppliers what they have new, as this fuels my R&D. All great chefs continue to improve their dishes and recipes over time. It's important to look at your menus and menu items objectively and push yourself and your staff to make them better. For example, I've been making sourdough bread at home for a year now. I don't sell it yet because I don't believe it's good enough. You have to keep researching and experimenting until you are satisfied with your product. Another great example is the process of making the burger patty for Burger Beast. This was a process that I worked on for 3 to 4 years until I was truly happy with it. Now it's one of our best-selling items. So what I'm trying to say is that perfection doesn't exist, but striving for it is what makes us truly great. There's no point in working so hard on the product if you don't calculate your food's optimal shelf life and simulate the delivery process. This will help you test your dish's viability for delivery. It is so important to simulate the delivery process as it gives you insight to what the customer will experience. I do this regularly, and honestly, I always change my name in the platform so the restaurants and the kitchens, they don't know it's me that's ordering. So I get the true customer experience. This process will dictate which dishes are best suited to the delivery format. Now, once you've assessed which dishes are suitable for delivery, you have to test and innovate your packaging and decide which works best for you and your dishes. There's no point working so hard on the taste and quality of your food if it arrives disheveled, soggy, or cold. You have to really look at the packaging you use and how to innovate it to suit you. So for example, at Cloud Eats, we were using delivery boxes for our fried chicken and wings that didn't have any vent holes. So the food was arriving soggy, not very nice. What I did was I talked to my suppliers and asked them if we could put a couple of strategically placed vent holes, which allowed us to let the steam escape during the delivery process. Now, all the wings and fried chicken arrive crispy, juicy, and delicious. Another great example was at Burger Beast, we used to wrap the burgers completely in greaseproof paper. This meant that the burgers were arriving steamed and soggy and the lettuce was just a mess. What we do now is we use burger sleeves which are open at one end, which allows a lot of that steam to escape. And now the burgers arrive in fantastic quality. And Burger Beast is one of our best-selling brands. You should also pack your dishes with the same care as if you were plating up in a restaurant situation. You know, chefs, they're always looking for a way to express their artistic side and their creativity. So just because you're using takeout boxes instead of plates doesn't mean you can't make the food look beautiful. This really shows the customer that you care and helps you bring your restaurant environment or life force into their living rooms. Once you've got your food in order, you have to communicate this with your customers now by addressing how you present online and in the platforms. This is your first point of contact with the customers, so you have to look professional and smart. Professional photo shoots make you stand out from the pack and give you great social media presence. We always get our food shots and even sometimes lifestyle shots done professionally, like what we did for our Rian Ramos brand and also the brand we did with the Norwoods Aloha Eats. Even I had to go to the studio to get photo shoots done for my brands, Burger Beast and Chef Carlo's Country Chicken. These shoots give your brand an identifiable identity. Descriptive menus give the customer an idea of what you have on offer. It also entices them to buy or select certain dishes from certain restaurants. Professional website design helps you communicate from kitchen to ordering platform to customer. This makes it easy for the customers to order and for your company to close that sale. I'm actually a very big believer of third-party aggregators. Restaurants are always complaining about the large commissions these aggregators take. You have to use them as your main source of marketing, then you can maximize their worth by opening up streams of revenue that you may not have already had or improving ones that you have existing. Now that your customers know how to order from you, you can use your own food as a marketing tool by creating promotions to make your establishment stand out among other restaurants. Try creating dishes that are available by delivery only, like secret menus or delivery only exclusives. You should also identify your hero products. By placing these bestsellers and desirable dishes at the center of your marketing efforts, you should be able to create strong brand identity, like what we did with the umami burger for Burger Beast. Lastly, you should always listen to your customers, as they are your best resource for improvement. Not enough chefs and restaurateurs do this, which is such a shame because it costs you next to nothing. A good example of this is that we were always focused on creating delicious comfort food for the market. But because of the pandemic, customers really started asking for healthier options. So we began to develop healthy concepts. Now our healthy department is the second bestseller behind My Burger Beast. I hope this was helpful and informative to you. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much as well to Chef Carlo. Nako, dami ko napulot ko dyan na insight, especially when it comes to packaging. And more importantly, I don't know about you, but what I really enjoyed about that discussion was yung maybe to entice more delivery, you have mga delivery-only items sa secret menu po ninyo. And of course, make sure to push the best sellers, di ba? Or your hero product. And the other nice thing, no, pwede mo i-combine yung natuto mo sa presentation ni Chef Tem, pati si presentation ni Chef Carlo, di ba? Nakita nyo dyan na, di ba, mga plant-based menus yung naging uso ngayon sa ating mga McCormick Flavor Forecast. You can combine that with your now healthy alternatives. Hinahanap yun ng mga tayo mga healthy alternatives. So maybe it's time to introduce more healthy alternatives in your menus because right now it's in demand. And as you can see, it's in demand right now sa mga produkto ng Cloud Eats kay Chef Carlo Miguel. So again, thank you so much for everybody joining us here right now. If you are learning a lot from this current experience, please make sure to tell us all about it in the hashtags. The hashtags to use are McCormick Together We Flavor. I hope you can show that on the screen or the chat box. Our hashtags are McCormick Together We Flavor and hashtag McCormick Culinary. You can also tag us at McCormick Friends and Flavor. Again, you can tag us at McCormick Friends and Flavor and use the hashtags at McCormick Together We Flavor and at McCormick Culinary. Again, maraming salamat sa McCormick Culinary. Let's get back to business. And this time, let's zoom in on some very essential topics that we still need to learn about right now. So una-una, natutunan po natin yung tungkol sa pagkain mismo, di ba? We've learned about the importance of packaging or sustainability or how to pivot or how to para mag-innovate sa inyong mga pagkain. But this time around, it's very important to also know how we market our food, especially online. Ano pa yung pinaka maigi or what is the best or most effective way to market your food online? How do we grow it through promotions and marketing? So right now, we will talk about how food goes digital. How do I accelerate in the online race? And we are joined right now by the president and co-founder of David and Goliath. Ito po ay isang digital strategy consulting firm that will help business leaders make calculated, performance-driven business decisions. With digital at the heart of their business, that they provide the breadth and depth of their offerings span across different disciplines that includes competitive landscape analysis, meron rin dyan creative execution, digital forensics, media analysis, and all these different things. Yung ating speaker po, si Miko David, has an MBA from IE Business School in Spain. He is also a Gold Award recipient where he earned his professional diploma in Asia Pacific Marketing from the National University of Singapore and the Marketing Institute of Singapore. Please welcome my good friend to talk about how to bring your business, especially your food business, digital. Please welcome Mr. Miko David.
Hi everyone, welcome to my segment. Today I'll talk about how to do digital marketing to accelerate in the online race. So for today, I'll talk about three things that we have to highlight or remember in this journey. Number one is know what people want online. Second, we'll talk about preparing the right types of content. And then third, what are the practical digital tools that we can utilize to help us in this journey? Well, let's start off with what people want online. Well, we took a look at a sample of Filipinos in Q1 2021 interested in food. And according to them, the top 4 social channels that they focus on is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, in that order. And by high degrees, no? So the disparity between Facebook and TikTok, mataas, no? Very, so you have to really prioritize it in that manner. So if you're trying to manage different things, you might want to put more attention on one platform versus another in that ranking, all right? Second is that what are the typical brand discovery touch points that they have online? So how do they discover about your products? How do you learn about different things, no? Number one, it's through ads on social media. So if you're not putting enough budget to boost your ads on Facebook, I can tell you that this is actually the key touch point for people interested in food. Number two is that there's a lot of awareness that is driven from online retail sites. So yes, there's Lazada and Shopee, but again, retail sites like Foodpanda, GrabFood, if there's an aggregator of different products that sells food as well, yeah, that's actually quite popular. And then third are recommendations from social media. So it's very, very important that no matter what you do, promotions that you do, people must talk about it, because that's a real driver for attention. So you have to really work on PR, you know. Now, once people discover about the products, the next thing is that, what do? They do online research. So the first and number one touch point for that is social networks. So after you run the ads online, after people talk about it on social media, automatically they will go to your news feed. They will take a look at other photos of people on social media. So it's very, very important that you publish a lot of pictures and information so that it's very, very easy for people to make a decision. However, the next and most important thing that people look for are consumer reviews. So you have to be very sure that people rave about it, they talk about it. If meron kayong mga kaibigan, no, who have tried your products, make sure that they leave a good review and they post pictures so that people who are deciding can realize, oh, masarap pala, you know. And then the third thing that people highlight in terms of research, no, is actually search results on Google. So if there's a way that people would type your product and then lalabas yun through the articles of others, other posts, no, that'll be a very, very powerful channel. So I highly recommend those combinations or priorities with regard to channels online. But I think more than promoting, no, on these channels, what's the best time, right? Now, what's interesting is that in a whole 24-hour cycle, it really starts dramatically at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m., it starts to increase, and there's a sustained increase from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. So people around the clock are looking for food content. However, there is a prime time, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's high from 9 a.m., sustains all the way, but 8 to 10 p.m., it increases dramatically. And from there, you get more eyeballs. No? So what I would just recommend is that when you run ads, you're just consistently showing it, you're quite present. But during the peak period where people have all the time, you make sure that you're very, very present there. Now, how do we find out what people are looking for? No, I would highly recommend to take a look at Google Trends. You can type the keywords on the website, and then it'll show you the interest. In this example that I have, we compared burgers, sushi, lasagna, and tacos. And you realize that, you know what, mas marami naghahanap pala ng burgers, no, in the Philippines compared to, let's say, lasagna. But there are some seasonality associated with it as well. Nico, what if I want to find out the specific type of burger or which locations burgers are very popular at, no? Then I would recommend having a look at Google Ads. And there's a section there called Keyword Planner, no? So you can type in the keywords, it'll generate for you all the keyword permutations. And anyway, I'll share a link separately that you can refer to para you know the step-by-step of how to get it. But it's a very, very powerful tool to find out the demand in a certain area or for certain products that you may want to sell, all right? Now, I want to talk about how to prepare the right types of content. Now, I want to leave 4 pieces of information that we must always have. Number one, we have to highlight the food. This is very obvious, no? But when we say highlight the food, you have to show the texture, the quality, how nice it is, presented in good lighting. I'll talk about more later, no? But it's something which is not always done amazingly sometimes, no? For example, some people, when they promote a price list. It's important, but you have to show kasi the food eh. Or sometimes there's a small window lang or picture lang for the food. You have to make it front and center. Second, you have to highlight the price. It's really, really important. You have to think about the customer, no? Parang, wow, it's nice. Magkano yan? You have to always answer, how much is it? And it's not always obvious when you take a look at the materials of other people. It's so small. You have to really emphasize it. Third, and the most important actually, is to highlight all the reviews that you get. So if you have good ratings, people have said good things, if you have friends who really love your product, get them to amplify it, share it on the feed, or let's say on their own channels, because when people research, lalabas yan, you know. So I really want to highlight that you should have good ratings, because that's a real purchase driver for people in the food sector. And finally, and not forget, no, to make the experience easy for customers, you have to highlight the process of how to order. Because we're in a pandemic, we have to find ways to communicate or transact online, but it's not always obvious. People have to always contact you, no? So if you already illustrate how to do it, it helps explain the whole process. Now, on that note, I want to talk about this part of presenting food very well. Kanina, we said we have to highlight food, right? But we have to really do proper photography, do good lighting, do proper plating when we present the food. And here I wanted to pull 4 examples, no, for laing that did it very well according to me. Because I looked at 100 ads for laing, and some of them nasa jar, iba nasa tray, pero hindi maganda yung lighting or yung presentation. And I found that out of all these 100 different ads, these 4 presented it really well, no? So I just want to share with everyone that it makes a big difference to stand out from everyone else. So congrats to these 4 companies. I think they did pretty well. Now, if I learn from what the large brands are doing, and if you look at this, no, they try vertical materials, whether it's Jollibee, McDo, Red Ribbon, or you know, KFC. Ano yan, vertical yung materials nila. Why? You know, everyone is on their phones, and yung phones natin malaking real estate. So, sometimes when we make materials, square lang siya, di ba? Or minsan rectangle pa. But it has to be vertical, so that it occupies more real estate on the phone. So, imagine that you have a large, beautiful picture of, let's say, itong lasagna, you know. Kitang-kita mo yan, and it's pretty good, no? And if you notice here, 2 out of the 5 examples are videos. So, they made vertical videos to really emphasize how delicious the food is. Now, the last point I want to talk about for doing the right types of content is that we have to try different ad types, no, or materials. What do I mean by that? Imagine, in this example, puro siomai yan, no? So, they had one siomai na in video format, isa naman picture. They did vertical, then they have one inside a box. So, maraming permutations. It's done by Chowking, no? Pretty good. But if you have different products, you have to have variety. Why do I say this? When we scanned a lot of different sectors or food, specifically within food, people just promote one ad and that's it. But imagine, you can show it in many different ways. And when you do this, when you have multiple ad types, parang the same material in different sizes, different formats, na picture, video, carousel, ganyan, no? It optimizes delivery, which means Facebook will become more efficient in reaching customers. So I highly recommend to execute this because it's very, very good for you. So question, Nico, how do we now make these vertical formats, or how do we make video, no? Wala naman akong budget para magpaano ng video editor. Well, as an SME or a food entrepreneur, there's some practical tools I can share, no? And there's 3 I want to share with you. Number 1, there's a product called Adobe Spark, no? You can download it on your phone, and it has all these templates that you can utilize for free. And you can have it in vertical video. You can do it for Instagram. You can do it for Facebook. You can do Facebook stories. And it's so convenient and so easy, no? And it's free. Of course, if you want to have the pro account, yun, may bayad yun na parang 500 per month. But the free account gives you a lot of flexibility. It's really, really excellent. So I highly recommend. Aralin nyo yun. It's pretty good. The second platform I want to highlight is Canva, you know. So Canva is not just known for PowerPoint templates, but a lot of other templates, even video templates and social media templates. So they have about 250,000 templates available. And if you go for Pro, no, for 300 pesos more or less, ano yan, they have like 610,000 templates. So mataas, no? So I highly recommend exploring it because these are done by professionals and it's designed in the Philippines. So pretty excellent work talaga. And then the last one, it's a company called Animoto. So si Animoto, what it does is that you drag and drop the images, and they have a lot of templates. They will make a video for you, you know, magaling, no? Platform. It's free for 1 minute and then may branding pa sila. But if you want to remove the watermark or other things, ano yan, I think it's about $5.50 per month. And you can have longer videos as well, no? So these are very, very practical tools that I highly, highly recommend. So anyway, just to recap, no? Well, number one, just know what people want online and remember that there's these certain places to look for them, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok in that order, right? And there are certain channels that you have to focus with regard to brand discovery and online product research. The best time slots is all throughout the day technically, but 8 to 10 p.m. ang time slot. Utilize Google Trends and Google Ads to find out the demand and the areas, no, that people want. Second is that you have to prepare the right types of content. Remember, no? So you have to take the right photos, you have to have vertical formats, different sizes, but you have to answer questions about price, how to order, diba? And other things, so ratings, very, very important. And last point is that we talked about the tools, no? So we talked about Adobe Spark, Animoto, and Canva. So these are all very practical tools that can really help you in this journey. And I really hope that you become successful, especially that we're coming towards the end of the season, end of the year. So good luck, everyone, and look forward to hearing from you in the Q&A. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much.
Ako, busog kung nabubusog kayo sa impormasyon ako, na-impacho na yata ako dito. I've had so much insight gain from that presentation. It's so nice, di ba? Palakpakan mo sa McCormick. Ang ganda ng mga speakers na talagang pinili nila dito, di ba? From Chef RV, very inspirational, how to make your food more sustainable. Ito naman kay Chef Carlo. I really picked up a lot on the importance of packaging. And syempre, kay nakala mo tao, Chef Miko. Hindi yan Chef Miko, marketing practitioner, MDA practitioner Miko yan, no? Kay Miko naman, yung importansya po ng digital and social media. At kahit kayo po ay food entrepreneur, magagawa ninyo sa inyong mga bahay yung inyong mga marketing tools na yan. So with that, can I please call on stage our three beloved guests? Unang-una, bonggang Chef RV, please join us. And of course, bongga ka rin, Chef Carlo. Okay, bongga ka rin, Chef Carlo. Huwag ka magalala. At syempre, bongga ka dahil. Maraming salamat, Chef Miko. Thank you. Marketing practitioner Miko. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. Bago lahat, Chef RV, batiin mo muna. Ang dami mga fans yung gusto mong bumati sa inyo. Pakibati na muna sila.
Ay, hello, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, sa mga taga-subaybay natin, and of course sa iyo, RJ, Sir Miko, and Chef Carlo.
Chef RV fan din ako.
Chef Carlo, fan rin kami ng Burger Beast. Pakibati rin mga fans mo. Ako fans mo dito sa Chef Carlo.
Thank you, RJ. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. It's good to see everyone today.
Okay. At Chef Carlo, mami yung ating Mami Burger sa bahay ko. Maraming salamat ahead of time. Thanks in advance. Okay.
Dinner tonight.
Miko naman ikaw, just greet everybody else. I think they were pleasantly surprised to hear from you kasi wow, what great insight, especially sa ating mga home-based chefs. Pakibati lang yung mga tao ngayon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, marami lang akong chismis, no, on data. So, happy to answer questions later sa chat. So, looking forward.
So, ang daming questions na lumalabas po dito ngayon, and it's great. I think this next question is very nice. Let's combine both Chef RV and Chef Carlo as to answer this one because it has to do with both, from the kitchen all the way to the packaging delivery. I think it's very key. So, there's a question here that came from Chef RV from Sherry Gibas, which I like. How do you feel, especially delivering things like cakes and pastries, things that that can easily get damaged on the way in terms of the integrity? What extra measures do they need to take, I guess, when they do delivery? Chef RB, ikaw muna. Then after that, Chef Carla, can you also add? Because I'm sure marami kayong natutunan from the whole experience. Chef RB, kayo muna po.
Well, thank you for the question. First of all, kailangan yung produkto mo is suitable for delivery. No, we have to be realistic. There are some products na hindi mo talaga ma-deliver ng as it is. no? Second, you have to have a stable packaging. So ang cakes, napakahirap po niya, napaka-challenging because especially in a tropical climate dito po sa atin. So kailangan yung box mo is matibay, and pangalawa, kailangan trusted yung delivery service mo. What we have learned, no, as mentioned earlier, hindi lahat ng cake products namin ay pwedeng ipa-deliver, pwedeng ikarga sa motorcycle, no? Because of course, ang cream, 30 minutes pa lang melted na yan. So kailangan maging upfront ka sa customers, especially kasi let's say ang cake from Binyan City to Metro Manila, pag motorcycle delivery, 200-300 pesos lang yan. No? Pagka car delivery, umaabot sa 700. So medyo mabigat. No? So prepare a list of those cakes and pastries na magsasurvive dun sa motorcycle thermal box, and those na kailangan talagang car delivery.
Salamat, Chef RB. Chef Carlo, could you also add to that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chef Harvey was very, very thorough there. But what I would say is limit what's on your menu to things that are already that will deliver well. You know, so if it's a cake with whipped cream, I think for your delivery only menu, you would probably take that out and not include it. So I guess that would come into testing and R&D before you publish your delivery menu.
Oh. Chef Carlo, gusto ko magdagdag rin, Chef Carlo, kasi kanina you were telling about some innovations sa packaging that natutunan ninyo, especially for, you know, how you package it so you let the steam out. Can you share with them other packaging innovations which the other people here, you know, that's something that you learned also during the crisis with what they could do in terms of biodegradable packaging? What else can other people do? Kasi syempre, naninibago pa yung mga tao, if they're especially home-based vendors, they don't know what type of packaging to use. Maybe you can share a bit more tips on the packaging material.
Absolutely. Now, with packaging, it's really up to you as to what you're most comfortable with. But for me, what I would recommend is that lids or covers fit very well. I really don't like seeing excess tape on packaging. So I would I would prefer to buy packaging that the cover secures very well already. We shifted all our small dip cups into hinged cups, because what would happen at the end of a month is we would have like 300 spare lids and no more cups. So when we have these hinged cups, the cover's already attached to the base, and you don't have that problem of too many cups and not enough lids or whatever, or vice versa. So I guess also it would be choosing something environmentally friendly. We try to do that as much as possible. I know everyone's at work from home, or a lot of people are at home right now, but let's not forget the environment. That's still one of the big issues in our time as well.
Okay. Thanks so much, Chef Carlo. I want to go to Miko naman right now. Miko, maraming mga katanungan tungkol sa social media, no? Yeah. I guess unang-una sa lahat, I'll make it two questions na para sulit. Unang-una, kailangan mo pa bang kumuha ng isang social media or freelancer para magtrabaho para sa'yo? Kung ikaw ay nagsisimula pa lang. And number two, you know, like for me, in my own business, kailangan ko mag-Facebook post ads kasi kailangan, paminsan-minsan kailangan na ba? So sa mga maliliit na negosyante, especially for food, do they have to post their ads? And what's the best way to post their ads? I know that there can be a whole seminar tungkol dyan, but baka starting off lang, may mga basic tips lang. So unang-una, should they hire or should they do it in-house? Sila lang gumagawa.
Thanks, RJ. No? Well, I think you have to look at it with regard to time, effort, and money, right? I think if money was no object and there's a lot of demand, then go ahead and hire. And that would be very ideal if the expertise is really strong with a social media employee or ad agency, diba? If they're very, very good at it, that's your expertise, then it should be quite good. But I think if you are highly focused on digital talaga, because all of your sales will be in digital, then I would recommend to build that skill in-house as well, And I think more than just hiring an employee, I think as an owner, it could be good to understand how it works in general, or to know how to look at the numbers and the analytics, no? But guaranteed, I think there is parang a balance that you have to build, no? At a certain level, you would have to take it in-house. Kasi you want to have control over all aspects, di ba? But I think if we're starting out, or you may have it a bit difficult to do everything on your own, you really want to outsource muna.
Pagdating sa mga yung tinatawag na boosting, yung binoboost mo yung Facebook ads mo, when is it the right time to do that? And may mga basic ba prinsipyo dyan para sa mga boosting ng mga ads?
You know, it's interesting. So, di ba kanina I mentioned about brand discovery and online product research, di ba? And what happened is for the food sector, specifically for the Philippines, across age ranges, no? Ano yan, ads on Facebook are highly effective. And we checked it as well, no? Whether it's someone who checks Facebook several times a day, daily, a weekly, monthly, people who see ads sobrang taas, no? So I would say you need to do that quite aggressively. Now, in the talk, I also talked about na merong mga reviews, di ba? So if you're not going to boost, what you have to do is to really, really work on communities, getting traction, getting people to talk about it. So, if we have friends or if we have people who are close to us, or meron tayong mga kaibigan na food writer, reviewer, or mga kapamilya.
Pagkain mo, then pwede ko itatag mo dyan yung review niya. 5-star review.
And across the process, whether discovery, research, or purchase driver, reviews are super important. So, if hindi ka lalaro sa Facebook boosting, you better make sure that the reviews are excellent. So yun. So that's both a paid and organic solution for that.
Naku, ang gandang advice mo. Magagamit ko yung kaagad. Chef tuloy, Miko. Now, both for RB and Carlo, I hope you like this question kasi I'm going to try to consolidate yung iba't ibang mga katanungan dito ngayon, no? I think during this time, because there's a lot of delivery going on, right? What are you seeing in terms of, especially some of them are very small online businesses, and they're really trying to compete right now online for the service. As you can see, lumalabas kay Miko dyan, di ba, na burgers is the best thing. So, and because Carl understands the strategy right now, Umami Burger, he understands how to make it stand out. Can you just help the smaller players right now? Okay, they want to make sure, what are the products that you're seeing right now, if they just need to, say, make a living, that they can do that is medyo innovative, but they still have a bit of a margin. What can they look at? What do you see are the trends that they can still do at home that can help them go there na, and at least help them get them off the ground. And eventually, baka they can start innovating. They can start increasing their lineup ng pagkain nila from there. Chef RB, ikaw muna. What are you seeing? How can they innovate? What are the current trends that they can innovate with?
Well, kasi me personally, hindi ako masyadong nakikisabay sa trend. Because I believe na talagang classic will never go out of style. So ang nakikita ko is, rice cakes, kakanins, no? Yan is regular. Because like here in the province, well, we are a city now, no? Pero people are still used to every weekend, ang breakfast mo should have something sticky, which is the kakanin. So, and kakanins, mga home bakers, home cooks can easily prepare it without investing on an expensive oven or mixer. You just need a stove and a steamer. You just have to be innovative when it comes to the flavor, no?
And then, Chef RB, how do you say that? I like that. Diba sabi mo, classic with a twist.
Yes, yes.
Ano yung usually your thinking process to make it slightly innovative? Sige, kunyari kakanin. Eventually, mga McCormick chefs are talking about how to innovate based on their experience. Ikaw naman, how do you innovate on the basic, but you put a little bit of the twist? What do you do over there?
Well, one of the most basic examples is damaha mais. No, nakasanayan natin 'yon. Na it's just plain coconut custard with corn, and nauso yung ube cheese pandesal. So we incorporated ube flavor and cheese to damaha. No, so a classic kakanin na lagyan mo ng konting trend, isabay mo dun sa uso, kinakagat yan ng consumers. And sa nagninegosyo, madali siyang gawin.
I got that. Thank you so much, Chef RB. Very enlightening. Like for you and Chef Carlo, I mean, burgers are burgers, but you were able to make umami burgers stand out. Can you just help us better understand, what is that thinking process for innovation para mag-stand out? Kasi ang dami dito yung kailangan ngayon para they're doing their best para di sila maka-stand out, di sila marunong mag-innovate. What is your thinking process to make a product stand out?
Well, first of all, I think the market's looking for authenticity. So what you should do is really play towards your strengths. If you're good at burgers, then work with burgers. Like Chef Arvi says, give it a twist. The umami burger umami's a catchphrase, has been a catchphrase for the last 4 or 5 years, correct? So we just worked the umami flavors into a burger sauce and we called it the umami burger. So it just hit the right sweet spot. But I would say authenticity and focus on what you're good at, and that will get you further ahead than trying to do something trendy. I definitely agree with Chef Arvi about classics never go out of style.
Got that. I go to Miko right now. Miko, you've actually seen the trends, di ba? So pinakita mo kanina that it's really hamburgers or that's tops. Can you help us out from a quantitative analysis, di ba? Kasi nakikita mo naman lahat, di ba? More or less, ano yung pinaka-trending na foods na lumalabas sa Google and the other social media?
Nako, this is so again, no, earlier I mentioned there's Google Trends that you can plug in, no. So everyone, you can just type Google Trends and then you can put the keyword and you can find out the results, no. But it changes per period, no. So just to make kwento on this, I was wondering, what do you think is more popular, RJ? Japanese food or Korean food? Question to you.
Nako, para sa akin, Japanese food. Pero sa ikaw,
It's actually Korean.
Korean na ngayon,
There's a lot more demand for Korean food in the Philippines, no? And you can break it down further by parang certain parang products specifically that people look for, di ba? And when I say this, you can see kasi may mga products na umaakyat, bumababa, or others, they increase at a certain time of the year, no? So when I look at, let's say, burgers or let's say sushi or other items, no, may seasonality talaga siya. So for me, when looking at flavor forecasts or positioning yourselves against other people who might sell the same products, you might want to look at what people are looking for in comparison. So the volumes are different, and my tip to everyone, yung sa Google Keyword Planner kasi, you can break it down per location, no? So if you're based in, let's say, Binyan, Laguna, what is the market for people who like cakes or who like specific types of Korean food or yung mga japchae, mga ganyan, no? And if you're coming from, let's say, another part of the Philippines, like Cebu or Marawi or something, you can actually find out pa rin anong popular sa area mo. So I think the way to look at that is really depending on behavior ng mga Pinoy, you know. So you have to match it in relation to that, RJ.
Really great answer. I love the answers coming from three of you. Maganda, mas malawak yung ating pananaw tungkol sa pagkain and yung mga trends ngayon, no? At bago lahat po, napapansin namin, we're looking at the chat box right now. Hindi nyo pa kailangan lagay yung mga hashtag dyan sa chat box natin po. Yung pwede nyo gawin na lang dito is that when you post, let's say, you post yung screenshot mo kami, pwede kayo mag-post dyan sa Facebook, lagay mo yung hashtag dyan, di ba? Wag sana po dito or sa Instagram, lagay mo yung hashtag para makita pa natin dyan. Just don't need to put the hashtags po dito sa ating chat box. Kung nagugustuhan yung sinasabi ni Chef RB, take a picture of RB. RB, smile naman, smile niyan si RB. Ayan, kung may picture ni RB ngayon dyan, i-copy ninyo. I-screenshot niyo, ilagay niyo sa chat box niyo, and then you can pin in your Facebook page, and then you can put there hashtag McCormick, and then tag McCormick as well at the same time. And please let us know if you're enjoying what the speakers have to say. Paki-comment naman dyan, what are you learning from our speakers here today? Kasi ang ganda ng mga lessons nila, not just about, di ba, yung kagandahan nito, hindi lang tungkol sa pagkain, kundi na rin sa promotions, and also in marketing here at the same time. Now, I guess moving forward, let's start to close things off, no? Over here, my last couple of questions over here, and one of them really has to do with this pandemic. I know Chef Arvi talked a lot about the importance of sanitation here right now, and I'm Chef Carlo also talked about sanitation, particularly for the packaging materials at the same time. I just need to ask, how do you guys, what would you like to remind especially think of it na karamihan sa kanila ay home-based chefs, di ba? The home-based environment, there's no industrial size, whatever there. These are not really practitioners they haven't gone through formal culinary training or experience. What would you like them to keep in mind, especially when it comes to hygiene and cleanliness when it comes to food preparation now? Chef RB, kayo muna po.
Well, may pandemic or wala, the mindset and yung ginagawa natin should be, we should always think big, no? And hindi dahilan na nasa bahay lang ako. Kahit nasa bahay ka lang nagluluto, doon mo ginagawa yung produkto mo, no? You have to practice professionalism. And kasama dyan, hindi lang yung maganda yung packaging mo, maganda yung Facebook page mo, kailangan malinis, you follow the HACCP, no? I'm sure pag ginugel nyo yan, makikita nyo may mga food safety protocols, no? Kung ano yung mga hindi mo dapat pagsamahin, kung paano yung tamang paraan ng paglilinis, no? Kailangan napaka-importante po nun. Because like what I always tell my viewers and my students, no? Mag-post ka ng picture kung saan mo ginagawa yung pagkain. Mag-post ka ng picture ng kusina mo. Hindi kailangan mahal, hindi kailangan sosyal, pero kailangan malinis because that will boost the confidence of your customers. No? Kailangan honest yung pagkain mo. And being honest, the customers should know the process of how you are preparing it. No? Again, hindi kailangan mahal, hindi kailangan komplikado. Kailangan lang totoo and sumusunod tayo doon sa basic food sanitation protocols.
Salamat, Chef RB. Very, very insightful over there. Chef Carlo, ikaw naman, pagdating sa packaging, ano ba yung tamang pamamaraan? What's the correct way of handling the packaging also that we try to maintain the integrity from the delivery, from the kitchen to the delivery person all the way up to the house? How should it be treated so that we maintain maximum safety standards, especially during COVID?
Well, I mean, when you look at it, your takeout box or your takeout container is the same as your plate. So it should be clean, it should be sanitized. Whether you want to put it in a UV sterilized box or under some UV lights or something like that before you put your food in there, however you want to do it, that box is like your plate. Would you eat from a dirty plate? No, you would not. So you need to make sure that box is treated with the same respect as a clean dish in a restaurant. Another important part for packaging would be safety sticker seals. So when you put that tamper-proof sticker to seal your dish, to seal your box, and it's also, to tie in with what Miko was saying, another great place for marketing. So you can market your brand or your business through that safety sticker seal, and you can say, you know, we're very safe, we're very mindful of taking care of safety protocols and making sure that your food arrives clean, safe, and on time.
Thanks so much. And lastly, last question na lang po kay Miko rather, no? Miko, sometimes people get in very quickly. How do people handle bad reviews online? Pag masama yung sinultungkol sa pagkain ninyo, how do you handle those questions lang?
Okay, that's a very relevant question, no? So the first thing is that we acknowledge the problem. That's one, no? And if it's possible to take it off the feed, no? So that you can find out all the details and investigate. So first, acknowledge the problem. Second, offer a solution, you know? So it doesn't have to be the most expensive solution, but we have to address it, no? And third, you have to work towards recovery, no? And this can happen through small mistakes on customer service. This could be with regard to food quality, and this could be about people's experiences with the food, no? I've always admired owners who have actually responded personally to the threads, no? It's just because they are very humble enough to take it as a learning experience and for them to change their ways, no? And if people get to see this, no, they would appreciate actually that the company is listening, that they are actually proactive and listen to taking feedback and improving services. And again, the reviews are really reflective of the entire experience of customers. So again, 3 steps, no? I would say acknowledge the problem, provide a solution, and then work towards a recovery. And the recovery is not just all marketing, but really fixing it, addressing the situation, and coming back and trying to win them back, no? So that's what I would say as a quick answer on the bad reviews. But guys, you can do it, no? We have to win reviews, and this is the time that you have to really step up and take control of the situation. So there.
Thanks so much, Chefs RB, Carlo, and of course, Miko, maraming salamat. It's been so much great information to everybody listening to us here right now. Palakpakan naman para kay Chef Miko, Chef RB, Chef Carlo, at Miko. Mukhang chef ka rin kasi Miko, di ba? Sa itsura mong ganyan. You look like a chef to me as well, di ba? And just like that, I'd like to introduce our last set of powerhouse speakers ngayong hapon na ito. They will each discuss something every business owner should have in mind, which is sustaining and managing the business for not just the new normal, but for the next normal as well. To discuss the future in food, how do I get ahead in the long run, mga kaibigan, please welcome Chef Angelo Comsti. Now, Chef Angelo completed his culinary studies in La Cordon Bleu, Sydney. He is also the author of the best-selling cookbooks, Homemade for the Holidays, From Our Table to Yours, the Filipino Family Cookbook, and Fuss-Free Filipino Food. Mga kaibigan, please welcome our good friend, Chef Angelo Comsti.
How do you get ahead in the long run? As a food writer, I've always been on the lookout for trends, hoping to arm and equip my readers with the knowledge and artillery for the battle ahead. Hopefully, my tips will get your optimism and drive as we as one find our footing in the very unpredictable times ahead. So here are my 5 suggestions on what you should do to sustain your business post-pandemic. Number 1, let technology help you. The pandemic forced many businesses to finally keep up with technology. Suddenly, there was a need to be more digital so you can directly reach out to your customers, so you can send your goods via third-party delivery services, so you can spread the word about your food in community chat rooms, and so you can remind the market of your signature dishes and new menu in social media. Technology has made running food enterprises better, and it won't be any different in the future as the dining market has comfortably adjusted to it. Restaurants that sadly had to let go of people were forced to rely on online platforms and QR codes for menus and cashless applications for payment. Yes, some establishments might want to go back to printed menus, but then they lose the advantage of having a database of customer information that they can use for study and leverage later on. Innovators are constantly coming up with new digital solutions to make the restaurant operations more convenient and profitable. The managers just know how hard it is to manually fix the employees' weekly schedules. Now, there's a software that can help them with it. In just seconds, managers can generate a digital weekly schedule to their staff and even distribute it with just a click of a mouse button. It is even capable of monitoring sales and staffing budgets to reduce overtime and ensure profitability. It's the same with inventory. Gone will be the days of using paper and pens, as there now exists an electronic inventory system that gives you better visibility of the main assets. Through a mobile device, restaurant employees can submit and view inventory counts with hardly any hassle. And it alerts them if there will be any discrepancies in the numbers. As you can see, technology is changing the way restaurant operations are being run. And if you don't get with the program, your business will easily fall behind. Number 2, restudy your market. You need to reevaluate who your market is. Students are now attending classes at home, malls have become ghost towns, offices have trimmed their manpower and size, and there are hardly any people in what used to be crowd favorites tourist attractions. Who then should you tap? Modify your value proposition to the current situation because that's the only way you'll survive. Perhaps you can attract nearby communities since a lot of people work from home. Delivery and takeout have kept many businesses alive and sustainable during the pandemic, and so you should consider that too. I know one local business that wasn't amenable to having the ramen taken out before, but to adjust to the so-called new normal, they eventually offered ramen kits to take home, where people can enjoy a bowl of their noodle soups at their most convenient space and time. Also, since it's not ideal to be sharing food with anybody for the sake of transmission and sanitation, portions are beginning to change in some restos, like this long-time Italian resto chain I know, that's now offering individual sets consisting of pasta, roast chicken, chips, and a drink. So go for a wider audience, expand your customer base. It can be done simply by offering more value to your product or going as far as lowering your prices to accommodate the tight budget of the market. Remember, the customer won't adjust to you. With a growing number of players in the arena, they can easily go to another. Number 3, adjust your menu. You need to study your menu. Ask yourself, how have people's eating habits changed during the pandemic? According to the Food and Drinks Trend Report of Mintel, a privately owned London-based market research firm, in 2021 and beyond, food and drink companies will create mental and emotional well-being solutions, deliver on new value needs, and use brands to celebrate people's identities. So there are three things people will be prioritizing: well-being, value, and identity. Let's discuss this further. If anything, the pandemic has made a lot more people concerned about not just their health, but their overall well-being. And so consumers will be searching for functional items that address their mental and emotional concerns. Things that claim to help people will focus and relax will be in demand. For example, that kind of regular commercial soda will be traded for a beverage that promises to supercharge your brain cells or keep you at ease. Or anything with vitamin B6 which keeps mind sharp will most likely be snatched than those that don't offer any mental support. 2. Value for money. Now that customers have time to study what's available in the market, they will be seeking a return to what is essential, and so consumers will be more picky with their purchases. Before adding to cart, they will first ask themselves, are these time-saving, hygienic, and convenient? Home cooking has become a habit due to work from home setups, and so people who begin dining out will be looking for items that are too complex to be cooked at home. Now that they know how much a Pinoy-style spaghetti costs, since they cook it at home, why would they pay for it 3 times more in a casual restaurant? Finally, food has become a popular form of escape during the pandemic. People turn to it to address their moods. When anxious, eat ice cream, or to belong, have sushi bake or ubi cheese pandesal. This downtime made us realize the importance of connection and support. That's why such things as community pantries and village chat groups have become a thing. You can take advantage by creating a digital space that brings your loyal customers together. Ever heard of online groups bound together by their love for the air fryer? For restaurants, engage with your customer base via Instagram or Facebook. In this time of solitude, they need to know you're here. Number 4, invest in marketing. During the most challenging times, it's the budget of this department that's often slashed when it is actually the one that you should focus your efforts more on. You need to be present. Your customers need to know that they can rely on you for comfort. Remember, communication is definitely key. Now is the time to make use of those calling cards they put in their fishbowl. Yes, social media keeps the market updated, but it's nothing compared to a personal text message from a restaurant they've been loyal to all these years. So send them an SMS, hoping for their safety, followed by an offer to order the food they've always loved in your restaurant. You're not only selling food, but strengthening your ties too. You're competing against home bakers, online sellers, and cloud kitchen tenants, among many others, and so you need to remind people that you are still very much open to cater to their cravings. Also, if there were platforms before that were out of your marketing price range, maybe now is the time to negotiate with them and strike a deal that works for both parties. Once the cinemas are up and running, I'm sure they'll be hungry for advertisers. Maybe this time, you can finally secure agreements in various kinds of media. Lastly, number 5, coach your staff. Some companies have laid off a good number of people when COVID hit, and as a consequence, the remaining employees are filling multiple roles. If you want to adapt your work processes and maintain productivity, you need to support your people. How? Invest in their growth by providing professional development that helps each employee reach his or her potential. Support the well-being of your people, especially when it comes to career development and skills training. Productivity and profitability depend on talent. The icing on the cake is individual growth and job satisfaction. Your business is going through so many changes and you don't want your staff to lag behind. High-quality guest experience is pivotal during these trying times because, though forgiving, customers won't easily forget. You have to train your staff regarding the new norms and cleaning and sanitizing different areas of the restaurant, as well as the utensils. The same goes for food handling and the whole dance and flow of guests entering and leaving the restaurant. It's hard to tell how sensitive the customer is, so the less contact, the better. Through good staff training and process enforcement, you can diminish the uneasiness and paranoia your customers will feel. Remember that what you're experiencing now is just temporary. Many food businesses survived the 2008 recession and have become even more successful after they adjusted their businesses from the situation. So always look for ways to improve. The food industry is always met with challenges, and for sure this one we will meet too. As they say, knowing is half the battle. Hopefully, by arming yourself with these tips, you will be able to easily navigate through it. Thank you, and I wish you good luck.
And thank you as well, Chef Angelo Comsti. Gusto ko yan. Knowing is half the battle. And just like you said, no, there's always been a challenge to the food industry. What's important for all of us right now is to learn how to adjust during these times. And for me, one of the key things which I really picked up from him is that you need to restudy the market, and you also have to understand right now, because of the times, there will be different portionings. There'll be different ways that people are enjoying your products here right now. I hope that you've been taking your notes as well. Know that, creating products that address your well-being or products that address the anxiety or pandemic. In fact, in our own studies, we found that milk tea has grown so much during this pandemic, precisely because people feel a sense of normalcy. Parang hindi sila nasa-stress pag milk tea sila. Parang things feel like it's normal. It addresses their mental and emotional well-being. So these are really great insights that we hope that you're all picking up on here right now. If you like Chef Angelo and what he had to say, please, if you got questions for him, pakisulat lang po, pakilagay lang sa ating chat box so we can ask it to him later on. Yung kasunod naman dito, last talk for this afternoon, ito, isang idol ko, si Chef Mikel Zaguirre, who'll be talking about future in food. How do I get ahead in the long run? Si Chef Miguel studied culinary arts at De La Salle College of St. Benilde. He is currently the executive chef and partner of the Locavor Group and president of Takao Studios, an F&B firm. He is the innovative man behind the food menu and restaurant concepts like Locavor Kitchen, X Drinks, Poki Plus Poki, District 8, Taqueria, 101, Bang Bang Bar, Uvu, Bad Bowl, Pepperoni, Pizza Pub. Ang daming mga great concepts ni Chef Miguel, and he's here to share with us some of his knowledge this afternoon. Chef Mikel Zaguirre. Chef Mikel, come in.
So you have an online business. It's successful. Congratulations. Congratulations for making it this far. You've managed to survive, adapt, pivot, adjust well enough through this pandemic. Now you're thinking of taking on another adventure of setting up shop. Question is, how do you get ahead in the long run in setting up shops or shifting to a brick and mortar? So here are 4 important tips that I would like to share with you in setting this up. First, begin with an end in mind. Second, separation. Third, location, location, location. And last, the cloud. Begin with an end in mind means you have to set actual goals determined by time. Here are some questions to guide you. What is your goal? When do you want to achieve your goal? What is your timeline like? What resources do you have available? What resources do you need to source out? How long do you want to accomplish this? What do you want to achieve? And when do you want to achieve it? Answering questions like this puts everything into perspective. Now, you can pace yourself and not waste your or anyone else's time and resources. Before you jump, figure out your end goal. Do you want your online business to be franchised? Naturally, if you want your business to be franchised, you should start with your supply chain. Supply chain meaning your commissary. Or if you want your online business to be a concept store, you should be focusing on design and aesthetic. Now, if you want your online business to be a drop-off point or a delivery point, you shouldn't spend so much on aesthetic and just look for the right location. Separation. Treat the brick and mortar business as a separate entity from your online business. You have to have separate books so you can keep track of your expenses from your online store and your brick and mortar. Separate marketing plan. Promoting an online store is different from promoting your brick and mortar store. Separate customer acquisition. Separate strategies. Having a brick and mortar has a lot more responsibilities than of an online store. Realize that what might have worked in your online store may not necessarily work in a brick and mortar. Location, location, location. Just like all mentors, books, and wise businessmen will tell you, this is the hardest and one of the most important things that you will have to look for in setting up shop. There are things that you will have to consider when you look for that perfect location. One is target market. Identifying the target market means what areas are accessible to them or what areas do they frequent. Next is check your data. Check your data from your orders. It will help you ask more questions like what area do you have to service more, or what area has the most orders, or what area has the least amount of orders. So it depends on what you want to do. You can build a delivery stop or delivery shop near the areas that you cannot penetrate, or you can open a brick and mortar to service the area where you have the most amount of orders. So these data will help you figure out what's the right location. Lastly, your rent or lease amount. Rent should always be within your means. Your rent should not go beyond 20% of your sales. One principle that I go by, for me, I should be making my month's rent within 2 days. If not, the rent is too expensive for me. Lastly, the cloud. I think the cloud system is a big disrupt in the F&B industry. Having a cloud setup with your existing online store and or plans for having a brick and mortar will help secure more business and will maximize everything for you. Adapting this setup can protect your branding while targeting more or different target markets that you want to penetrate. Think of it this way. With one team, one store, one kitchen, you can have 5 or more concepts virtually and target different demographics with it. You can add probably a Filipino cuisine online restaurant, an American online restaurant, a concept that focuses on sandwich, or a healthy concept. So you can do this with the cloud while protecting the brand of your existing online business. This can possibly add 5 more revenue streams that can help your business grow. Food delivery, I think, is an industry on its own. So it's safe to say, you have to prepare for it and get a share of it. So these are the 4 tips that I think will get you ahead in the long run for your brick and mortar food business. Thank you.
Well, Chef Miguel Saguire, I loved it. I was expecting actually a talk on the food, but I love it. It was a talk on the food business. I'm not sure right now. Let's bring them back on the screen. Chef Angelo and Chef Apple the App. Sorry, not Chef Apple the Chef Miguel Zaguirre. Thanks so much, Chef, joining us here right now. Chef Kel, ang daming comment dito. I like your hair. Daming nagsabi, I like your hair dito sa ating chat box dito ngayon. Pakibati mga fans mo naman, Chef Kel, pati mga taga CSB na gustong we're watching you right now.
I would like to greet everyone. Everyone is in this webinar, and I would like to greet the students from this, and the fellow speakers and fellow chefs, mga idol. And to you, RJ, good afternoon.
Thanks, Chef Kel. Chef Angelo, ikaw pakibati rin. One big fight over yung pakibati mga tao na nakikinig dito ngayon. Chef Angelo, you're mute.
I'm sorry, good afternoon, everyone. Borrowing the words of the pogging Chef Johan, good afternoon to the beautiful ladies and handsome men watching us today.
Thanks so much. Perfect way to suck up to the people listening to us here right now, Chef Angelo and Chef Kel. I guess right now, a lot of great insight was coming off. And what I really picked up was your idea really that we have to start, kumbaga, segmenting the food industry right now. The way to look at it, like, okay, dine-in is a different experience. You have to market it differently. Food delivery is a different experience. You have to market it differently and create a whole plan behind it differently. Cloud kitchen is a whole different plan altogether. Now, what I want to ask is because karamihan dito ngayon are really home-based chefs, right? So they're starting off right now. If it's a startup mentality, how do you think they should, I guess, start off their business in the new normal? If they could, if they had a blueprint for them that's fresh, what should they do? From an online kitchen, should they move up from that one? Should they just stay where they are? Because we said we're planning for the new normal, we're planning for sustainability. What next steps do you think that they should take? Let's go first to you, Chef Angelo.
Well, talking based on experience, because during the pandemic, I also opened an online food business, and we're not doing it at home, but we're renting a restaurant kitchen. So I think what the home-based food businesses are doing now is perfect. Go online first. Parang try to get your feet wet and see if your product works. At the same time, one, you're not paying so much for overhead for staff. Two, you're trying to build a customer base. Now, after a couple of months or a couple of years, if you see that you have a big following already, you're getting a lot of fan base for your food, then that's when you start thinking of doing a brick and mortar or opening it for a larger market.
Got that. Thank you so much, Chef Angelo. Chef Kel, what's your advice? You started also from home base to becoming big. What's your advice right now, especially yung kumbaga sang-ayon sa new normal?
Well, I think they have to really be honest with themselves and answer the question of, why am I gonna do this? Or do I really need the brick and mortar? Because it's a whole another level. It's a different ball game, and you have bigger responsibilities with it. Now, Chef Angelo is really, really correct in saying that you have to get your feet wet first and establish your basic market. So responsibilities are expensive. So that's one of the biggest causes of restaurant downfalls. So they have to be really, really mindful of that.
Got that. In fact, right now, I want to go. Costs were actually coming up, and we're talking more about the business sense because we had a chance to talk about innovation earlier on. But I think there are things that happen behind the scenes which they should know. Basically, they often tell us, diba? And I like that you talk about the rent, diba? And rent should be about 20% of your, as you were saying, 20% of your total food costs, and you should make back your rent maybe the first. Yeah, the lower the better, but you should make back, let's say, the first. How many days of operation dapat yung mababayaran yung rent? More or less,
well, by my rule of thumb, if I make my rent in a day's sale, that means my business is gonna be sustainable.
Okay.
If I don't make rent in a day or two, I think that the cost of the lease is very expensive.
Got that. So having said that, I like this, Olivia. You've been asking a lot of great questions over here together with Charlotte. No. The basic rule of thumb I've heard from when it comes to food costs, diba? Especially for the newcomers, they might not know this one. Usually they say for the food costs, 1/3 is the actual food costs, 1/3 is utilities, electricity, labor, whatever else, and 1/3 is actually the rent costs. What do you guys think of that, especially now given the new normal scenario? And if they're not going to be able to rent right now, what's the better alternative? Should they do cloud kitchen? Or should they just do a home kitchen? So those are two basic questions. What should be the rule of thumbs for costing? And number two is, what should they be looking for in terms of location right now? Angelo?
Well, for me, with regard to my business, since there's so many players in the arena right now, what we're trying to do is not have our stuff available every day. In that case, we will be able to save up and at the same time just limit the staff that will be going to the kitchen, or our inventory will keep it small until we reach such a time na the demand is so big that we can have it every day already. So we open just on weekdays, Tuesdays to Thursdays. And then we announce that online, people order. It's very sustainable and manageable without hurting our budget.
Okay, so parang ginawa mo more or less parang variable cost yung ginawa mo dyan. Do you do this out of the house, Angelo, or in the
kitchen we're renting. A kitchen we're renting.
So more or less, what's the cost break? More or less, what would be your cost breakdown for the food costs for what you're doing right now?
It's we're trying to keep it down 30% if possible.
Okay, got that. Chef Michael, you've had several restaurants under your wing, no? More or less, can you share with us also what is your breakdown for the different areas of the food, for costing out the food?
Well, by standard, everyone is saying is that your food cost should be around 35-30%. But you have to also understand there are some items that are high cost, high profit margins. A big example for this are steaks. You can't put your steaks at around 35% because you would have to sell them at a higher price. There are items like that when you say I can price this at 45 or 50% cost, but you would get a bigger profit margin because it's just that expensive. So at the end of the day, when you list down all your food costs, you have to average it, and the base percentage should be around 30 to 35. That's for food cost. Your rent should not go more than 20%. The less, the better. And then your manpower. Uh, Add everything up, all the utilities and everything. That should give you around a good 75 to 80% of all the expenses that you need. And basically, having 20 to 25% profit margin is really good for the business.
Got that.
Net.
Okay. Oh, yes. Please continue, Chef. Chef Kel, continue. You were saying something.
So that's the net.
Okay, that's the net.
Not
okay,
the gross, yeah.
The next question I want to ask also is, this is a good question. How can you, of course, kasi this only comes up right now during the new normal, di ba? Kasi noon, ginawa mo lang noon, may kitchen ka, kailangan mo mag-online delivery, then kailangan mo tuloy mag-close ng shop, or kailangan mo mag-cloud kitchen, or mag-share ng kitchen. What do you think right now, moving forward for the smaller players, what do you think that they should position themselves in these three things? Should they be just an offline brick and mortar plus may delivery, or purely just home-based, or cloud kitchen? I mean, syempre, ang daming options ngayon, at syempre, yung iniisip mo rin ngayon, yung budget ko. So, what do you think that they should do moving forward with regard to how they position themselves and where they should be? Chef Angelo.
A case-to-case basis, it depends on your brand, on your food. But kasi parang times are so uncertain right now at this very moment. It's so unpredictable still. We don't know when the industry is gonna recover or when everything will really normalize. So I suggest right now to keep it simple, keep it basic, try to earn from it, and then later on when everything's more stable, that's the time that you consider going big if you want to.
Got that. Chef Kel, ikaw naman, you've got so many restaurants under your belt. What's your suggestion?
Well, that's true also. You have to start small. Recently, we opened a fried chicken online concept called Aguirre Fried Chicken, and we're located in the south. Now, upon 2 weeks of operations, we noticed that there are a lot of orders coming in from the north. So for us, expansion or brick and mortars or a cloud kitchen operation should focus on the northern area so that we can cater more to that location, because 80% of our orders are coming from the north. So things like that. It really depends on what do you want to solve, or what's the immediate action for you to sustain your business or to grow your business.
Got that. And just as we wrap up, the last question for both Bilang right now. We've asked a lot of the chefs earlier on, what is their formula for innovating their dishes, especially right now? How do you turn comfort food with twist, or whatever you think is a great innovation right now, or that mindset for chefs that they should have to innovate their dishes para maiba naman, especially right now, ang dami kalaban. Chef Angelo, what are your tips naman for innovation para sa ating mga chefs?
3 things. First, use alternative ingredients. Stop using French butter, for example. Maybe you can use Negros butter from Negros. In that way, since people are more into go local, diba? You have more a marketing advantage over the others. 2, using new processes. For example, sous vide is very popular, or even cooking in the palayok now is very in style because of the flavors. Then 3, presentation. You can play around with the presentation of a typical pandesal can be made into like a cinnamon roll type. Diba? You turn it into a nut just to make it different, but the flavors are still the same. So three things: alternative ingredients, new processes, and different presentation.
Well, thanks so much, Chef Angelo, for that. Chef Kel, kayo naman, innovation.
Well, innovation always has to start from inspiration. So for me, I get inspired with anything that I see, hear, learn. taste. It can be from different dishes, but as long as you have the heart for it, you have to be honest. Play to your strengths, kagaya ng sabi nila Chef Carlo a while ago. You should play to your strengths and focus on it so that you will have a really, really great product. And I want to touch up on also yung culture natin as Pinoys. Dati talaga, diba, mahihain tayo in terms of pasensya na pag may bisita tayo sa house. Pasensya na, adobo lang, or pasensya na, kaldereta lang. I think this is the time that we should be proud, lalo na kung yun yung very, very honest yung niluluto nyo sa house. Make it, use quality ingredients and promote it well. Be proud of what you're really good at.
Okay, thank you so much, Chef Kel and Chef Angelo, for this very insightful learnings from this session. Palakpakan naman mga kaibigan dyan sa ating chat box para kay Chef Kel and Chef Angelo. Thank you so much for the great tips you've shared with us, and thank you for joining us here this afternoon. What, kumbaga, buffet ito ng mga learnings, mga very practical and relevant solutions. At sana marami kayong napulot a lot of valuable tools to equip you, not just in terms of culinary, but in terms of business and in terms of digital promotion at the same time. Okay, maraming salamat ulit sa lahat po na nanonood who watched from the beginning to the end. Bilang isang food entrepreneur myself, alam niyo po, the secret to success is always innovating your product. Importante po, bilang isang entrepreneur, you're always willing to learn. And your job is to turn, sinabi nga kanina ni Chef Kel, turn your inspiration or your irritation into your innovative product. And being part of this webinar was one step towards growing your business. Again, together, we flavor, together, we win. Again, maraming salamat sa mga eksperto na sumali sa ating ngayong hapon na ito and even answered questions mula sa ating audience. Our chef's hat is off to all of you sa McCormick Culinary. Maraming salamat to all our good friends from McCormick Culinary for making this event possible. And please expect more events from McCormick Culinary in the near future. Gusto niyo pa ng isa pang event na parang ganito? Please let us know right now. Please let us know in the chat box. Do you want one more McCormick Culinary event? I want to see you guys again next time, okay? Make sure to stay tuned for our announcements sa aming Facebook page ng McCormick Culinary. We hope to see you again in the near future. Ako po ulit si RJ Ledesma, wishing you the best time, the best season, yung season po ni Jose Marie Chan. Merry Christmas po sa inyo ahead of time. And of course, hopefully, mga kaibigan, please stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. This has been Together We Flavor, brought to you by McCormick Culinary. Magandang hapon at magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay kayo at lahat. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Bye!